So in the future, sports like the NFL and the NHL and like Major League Baseball, they're completely irrelevant because technology has advanced so far that strength literally doesn't matter at all to anybody. It's not exciting. So the best athletes in the world are now engineers and scientists, and people can operate computers basically in the form of these 100-foot battling robots. Now the way that these robots came to be is that in the future 6 companies have come to own all of industry, which we're getting closer to by the minute. Right. But 6 companies own all of industry, and when the wealth has gotten to the point where building a gigantic high-rise building doesn't really do it for anybody anymore, that they need to show off even more than that. So they the 6 companies decide that they're going to build 6 space stations surrounding the Earth that are basically like these Death Star moon type of things.
These are basically what the robots look like that build them. But so they mass produce these to build the space stations. So people were up flying them. So tons of people were good at flying these machines that then became obsolete after they finished the space station. So they're like, what are we gonna do with these robots? And then they're like, oh, we'll make a sport and have them fight each other and use them in a way that's like gonna make them even more money.
So yeah, a lot of the story that we're doing is definitely a satire of corporate culture and the greed that comes with competition, and a lot of the characters we've also we have like certain characters that we've kind of used as a satire for like steroids era baseball. Kenny Jackson, for example, is one of them. He's a young kid, but the bigwigs at PBL Robots realize that if they're gonna market their sport to the young kids and get that fan base, the best way to do that is to actually have kids piloting the robots and have the kids be the heroes. So there's a little bit of sketchy business with the this new thing called age modification drugs that actually allows for these kids to get into their prime, like their 30-year-old self, basically, when they go into critical form.
You can watch him go into critical.
So that's what this critical form is it's a comeback mechanism, but it's also part of the sketchy business of the PBL trying to fix these games and make their
and Kenny says, never can I recall what I have done in critical form.
Dun dun dun.
It's pretty creepy.
I also like that in the future, like there's no longer a division between men and women's sports because it's like progressed beyond that, and it doesn't even matter, like physical strength doesn't even matter because you're like controlling a giant robot, so like mental strength is what matters more.
So yeah, the hero, the protagonist of the entire game, I would say, is Maxine Trinidad.
Yeah.
So Maxine Trinidad grew up in the PBL Robots sport. Her dad, Doc Trinidad, is basically like the Michael Jordan of PBL Robots. He's an 11-time champion, and there's nobody that's ever been as good as him. But Maxine grew up around everything, and she grew up in like the pits as like learning how to like engineer the robots, and she actually became a pilot as well. So she's the only character ever that's ever been able to be a pilot and an engineer at the same time, and actually work on. She can actually work on both. She can work in the pits on one person's crew and pilot the other person's.
Yeah, so she could be on both teams at the same time.
Yeah, and she's a girl.
Yeah, she's awesome.